How does a humidifier work? Perhaps you're considering buying one for your home, but you're just not really sure how they work or if they're even really effective. Luckily for you, I'm going to break all of that down in this video, as well as going over some types of humidifiers and some shopping tips for buying your own. Ready to dive into humidifiers? Let's do it. Humidity is how much moisture is in the air. Naturally, there are varying levels of humidity depending on where you are. So for example, I live in the southeastern United States and there tends to be a lot of moisture naturally in the air here, so it's very humid. But if you live in a desert, not so much. If you ever traveled between a humid environment and a non-humid environment, you've probably experienced the difference in your skin, your hair, and just how you feel overall depending on that humidity level. Now, humidifiers increase the amount of humidity in a room, so let's get into how low humidity affects us. When you're sleeping in a room with low humidity, your skin and mucous membranes, such as the lining of your nose, mouth, lungs, and stomach, dry out. After a night of sleeping in low humidity, you might wake up with dry skin, an irritated nose and throat, itchy eyes, or chapped lips. Low humidity at night can also worsen allergies, asthma, or respiratory infections. However, you don't want your bedroom to be too humid either. An overly humid bedroom can lead to mold, mites, and bacteria growth, as well as moisture on the walls. It can also make your room feel stuffy and affect your respiratory health. With all that in mind, let's get into how a humidifier works. As I mentioned before, a humidifier increases the level of humidity in a room, not to be confused with a dehumidifier, which can actually reduce the level of humidity in a room. Now, humidifiers essentially force extra moisture into the air, and they do this through a variety of methods. There are three main types to know about: warm mist, evaporative, and ultrasonic. Warm mist humidifiers boil the water, changing it from a liquid to a gas. This allows the warm mist to permeate the air and increase the humidity. Warm mist can work more quickly to humidify the room, can warm up your room, and has the added bonus of the water boiling and thus purifying before it is emitted. However, there are some safety concerns regarding boiling water. If you have pets, kids, or you just have a tendency to knock things over, a humidifier full of boiling water might not be the best choice. Next up, let's talk about evaporative humidifiers. Evaporative humidifiers are a cool mist humidifier. They work by speeding up the process of natural evaporation. They use a fan to blow air through a filter where the air absorbs moisture. This type of humidifier is a good way to ensure the mist blowing into your room is clean, but also requires replacing the filter periodically. The third type is ultrasonic humidifiers. These are also a cool mist humidifier, and they use high frequency sound to break the water into droplets, which are then propelled into the air. Now that you understand the importance of humidity and how humidifiers work, let's go over some factors to consider when shopping for one. First, you'll want to decide whether you want a cool or a warm mist humidifier. As I mentioned before, warm mist humidifiers have some benefits but do present a safety risk. Next, you'll want to consider the noise level and light level that a humidifier emits. Some humidifiers have night lights which can't be turned off, which can be a distraction while sleeping. Similarly, humidifiers that use fans can be somewhat noisy. You'll also want to think about size and style. Be sure to pick a humidifier that will blend with your interior decoration, will fit on a surface in your room, and that is the right size for the square footage of your room. The final big factor I would consider is cleaning and maintenance. Humidifiers with filters will have an extra level of maintenance, plus you'll have to repurchase the filters. Some humidifiers have machine washable components, others are entirely hand wash. You can also look for other small features like doubling as a diffuser, medicine cups, directional mist outlets that let you control where the mist goes, and more. Well folks, that's all for today's video. I hope you found this helpful, and if you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Now, if you are shopping for a humidifier, I recommend checking out some of our reviews either here on our YouTube channel or over at sleepopolis.com. And over there you can find tons of reviews, sleep health content, and news content. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!